It feels so good. 2026 Major League Soccer is now officially upon us. Ladies and gents, we're here. Season's right around the corner, less than 2 weeks away, which means we got to do what we do every single year. If you're not new to the channel, you know that we kick off every season with our power rankings. One for the East, one for the West. We got to have some receipts to hold throughout the season. And of course, got the crew back together to do all this. We're starting with the Western Conference today. And as a special guest, I wanted to make sure that we got Fabian Renkel in here with us to talk about not just MLS, not just why he's massively excited for the league, but also about a new project that he's really excited to unveil today on the show. Fabi, how we doing, bro?
Yeah, hey, thank you guys so much for having me on. It's a pleasure. I mean, who doesn't love talking Western Conference? All right, here we go. Some would say West Coast is the best coast, but
let's get it. I like it.
We'll find out next year, right? So definitely, I'm excited to be on. I'm excited we got to launch Kickbase USA today, the new home of MLS Fantasy. So if you like MLS Fantasy, make sure you give that a download and then see who you line up. I want to see if you could beat me in that. So.
I got you, bro. I got you. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about all throughout the show, some picks that we might make on the fantasy front, and even towards the end, kind of just some visuals around what Kickbase looks like. Bro, I'm a big fantasy guy, big player prop guy when it comes to so many leagues around the world. I can't wait to run it up in MLS. But all right, man, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tier list. You guys know how this goes. We're not going to be providing a ton of super in-depth tactical type analysis. It really is just vibes today, but we are going to bring kind of just our take on how we see each of the 15 Western Conference teams in MLS performing in 2026. So, as usual, we got the tiers here. And I'm going to actually line this up in a way that makes it a little bit better for us. So,
oh, there you go.
Yeah, man, much better. I think we have here just the 5 tiers. So everybody's locked on what this looks like. MLS Cup or bust, sneaky contenders, playoff lock. So all 3 of those top tiers, everybody here knows, right? We got to make sure that those teams are all 1,000% probably vying for something in the postseason. Flip a coin FC, 50-50, go either way. And then we have the infamous 2027 is our year. There's a few teams I'm already looking at for that one. But let's jump right in. The first one, we're going to go alphabetical order here. Let's start with a team who made a pretty big move in the transfer window. We're talking about Austin FC. Bobby, you told me pre-show you got a take for Austin. Where are you lining them up, man?
Yeah, look, I'm going to put them in the sneaky contenders place because they got a guy named Facu Torres who was an MVP candidate at some point before he left MLS. He never reached up to that potential, right? But he has a chance here with Austin to kind of be the man for them, step up to the plate, play alongside some players who are good as well. For example, Uzuni and Brandon Vasquez. He's going to be able to facilitate for 2 big strikers. I think this team is slated to have kind of a different resurgence. If you're looking at Bucati and thinking, this guy is a $10 million man, and then you get rid of him and bring in a guy like Facu Torres, who's a borderline MVP candidate, I think that's a 100% good business. And then Owen Wolf, in my opinion, is just going to have the next step in his career this year. I think he was like a top 5, if I'm not mistaken, maybe top 10 player in Kickbase last year. And he's going to have that type of that year this year as well. So no, I think Austin is a sneaky contender. I think they look a lot better than they did last year. And Brandon Vasquez is coming back. So it's not at the beginning of the season, but Brandon Vasquez will be back for this team. So no, I like this team a lot. I think they've done enough to where they brought John Bell in for the back line. Brad Stuvert's still there. And I think this is going to be a team that could compete.
Yeah, I think Austin is so interesting to me because I feel like we've had this same type of analysis and coverage of Austin FC for like a couple seasons in a row, right? Where when it was the Brandon Vasquez deal that came through, I remember how excited they were for even Yader Obrian to come in from Dallas. Right. Bucati was there. He's no longer there. I did hear some rumors that Uzuni might be on his way out.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
As of right now, he's not. So my thing is, let's bank on him still being there. So I would pick Austin to be a sneaky contender if they keep everybody.
God, I hope not. I really hope not. We'll see, bro. Everyone knows I'm a Dallas fan. So like, as long as we beat Austin, I guess whatever happens the rest of their season, it is what it is. How big of a signing is this guy, though? Like huge. Realistically, like this, like I know Fabi said he's huge. The rest of you guys feel the same way? Are we thinking, hey, we're gonna get Orlando's version of Facu Torres, or is it gonna be even better?
Will it be better? I guess we're gonna have to see. I mean, for me, I think my opinions on Facundo Torres is like when he was coming up in Orlando, he was obviously doing great things. Obviously, that system and I think that team, because you have Ojeda, you had a lot of other players that wasn't just. I mean, he was a big part of that, but it wasn't just Facundo Torres reliant. Whereas I feel like this almost feels like it's Facundo Torres reliant in terms of playmaking, creating.
I think Owen Wolf will have a say, but yeah,
of course. But I think on the way that I view it, it's not as big of an impact as an Ojeda was to like on both sides, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be something like that, and I feel like a lot of it's going to fall on his shoulders. So it's will he have the ability to continue pushing forward and kind of get into those MVP conversations again? I don't know. I think his move kind of went away from him because I think he was trying to plan to leave to jump over to Europe, and it just didn't work for whatever reason. I don't know if there was just not a lack of interest, but he's back now. I think he was a player that impacted the league very, very strongly. Is it a big needle mover for this team that I feel like for a while has lacked creativity? For sure. But I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a lot of, I feel like depending on how they start the season is how the rest of the season will go for them. If they don't get going on a strong foot and just push forward, I could see them struggling, midway and trying to figure out, what to really do there. Because, I mean, I feel like this team has had a creativity void for a while now.
Since Driussi left, like Fabi, do you back him the way you would back Sebastian Driussi?
Yeah, I think so. I think Driussi was an MVP candidate for Austin, and if I'm not mistaken, was the MVP, right? That was about 3 years ago when they had that crazy run.
Went to the Western Conference final.
Yeah, the 4 years ago. But yeah, no, I think Facundo Torres can make that next step with Austin, but we're also forgetting about a guy that they brought in from Vancouver, Nelson. I think this guy would have been a starter for one of the better teams in the Western Conference, but the only reason why he's not starting is because a guy named Thomas Mueller and Ryan Gauld. So, yeah, they get a guy who's a very good MLS guy who may not even stay in MLS, and Nelson, and then Facundo Torres comes back from playing with the Palmeiras team that was arguably one of the better teams in Brazil, right? And they made the Club World Cup, and he had that experience. So no, I think this team is going to come out firing. When they get Brandon Vasquez back, I think it's just going to look a lot better too.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they will be good. I'm not going to say sneaky contenders. I my opinion coming into this was like they're a playoff lock. Like 1,000%. I expect them in the postseason after a couple of tumultuous years in the void of Sebastian Driussi. But we'll keep him here. I think unless anybody has an egregious problem with this, I don't mind. This is kind of a hot take, but I like it. I don't believe they'll finish as like one of the contenders in the West, but that's a little bit of hate, so that's okay. That's okay. Any major call outs here before we move on to Colorado? No? Chilling? All right. John, talk to me, bro. Colorado Rapids. We've all talked about this team, I feel like, so much on the show. Nothing worth of note in the window. I think the Rapids they move on from Armas. They bring in a new manager. It feels like the project they had failed. It feels like that because they've made what was it, almost 20 signings a couple seasons ago, and things just really haven't panned out. How do you see this team kind of finishing? What tier do you put them in, John?
Flip a coin. I feel like on a real note, because I feel like with them, obviously they had the project where they brought in Georgie. They had they had a couple signings there. They brought in Stefan. At the time it looked like moves that were pushing them forward, right? That they were gonna try to push further in the playoffs, kind of get into the contention. And it just didn't really work for them. And they kind of just blew everything up. So at this point, for me, it's tough to really say Colorado's going to be in a playoff. Do I think they're going to be in the playoffs? I don't think so. I think there's a lot of better teams in the West that are, that I would consider more to be playoff locks. But I don't think they're going to be as bad as 2027 is going to be our year. So I think flip a coin is a good spot for them, just given the fact that sometimes it's hard to know what they're really going to provide, because they're a team that can either turn it up on you, score 3 goals, and they have this amazing game, and then they kind of flip it back the next week and they lose 3-0 too. So they're a very up and down team. It's hard to really predict, other than they could do well, but they could also do very poor. So
their big signing was Dante Seeley, and Seeley I know well. Watched that guy in Dallas for quite some time. Watched a little bit in college too. And he's so raw. He was such a raw winger. I feel like That's going to be probably one of your marquee signings. They get a full season of Paxton now. That's another thing, right? Bobby, from your perspective, do you feel like, I don't know, Paxton's the guy to watch, not just for Colorado, but maybe even on fantasy as well this year?
Yeah, look, there's a couple of guys who have an opportunity to kind of shock the world, and I think Paxton is exactly that type of player, right? Maybe has fallen a little bit under the radar now that he's in MLS, possibly maybe undervalued in some eyes around the league. So no, 100%. I think Paxton could be a person that you can line up in fantasy this year, and he could maybe shock some people at the value that he's currently at, because Colorado's going to need him. They're going to need a lot from him to do really anything in this Western Conference. And I think having them at Flip a Coin FC is actually a perfect spot for them, because this could either go both, either or ways, to be honest.
It really can. Last year, I don't know, they had this little run, this little stretch in the 2025 season where I felt like Armas kind of had the guys moving a little bit. They were just getting some results over the line. But then, I don't know, they were so up and down. They even when Dallas was bad in the Lucho Acosta stint, which was very, very brief, Dallas found a way to come back. Like, we were down like 3-0 or 3-1 and came back and tied the Rapids at their field. And it kind of just, I feel like that game epitomized what this team is all about. Like, you may get their ceiling and quite literally their floor in the same game. And that's just, I don't know. Yeah, I'm almost inclined to put him, like, I don't really consider them a threat at all this year, but maybe Paxton Aronson shocks me. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he does. Davi, how do you feel about Paxton, by the way, just as an individual player? You think he's enough to backpack the hell out of this this Rapids team?
I don't think so.
Why not?
To be honest, I haven't really seen much from him, and admittedly, I don't watch a lot of Bundesliga, so I can't really go off how he performed at Frankfurt. But I mean,
he was better in the Eredivisie, but like, I don't know how much that's translatable to MLS.
Yeah, but the Eredivisie seems to be a more friendly league to MLS players. I mean, Ricardo Pepi's a good example of one of them. Other than that, I mean, he doesn't really seem like a goal scorer or someone that creates. Just looking at the stats, looking at it. But I mean, he did have that good year at Utrecht where he had 9 goals and 6 assists.
Is Aronson is he an upgrade from Georgi Mihalovic?
I don't think so.
I think
John fucking loves Mihalovic, bro. John,
I don't think so.
He's
a
great
shit out of that man.
He's a great player.
He is. I'm not saying he's not.
I'm actually excited about Toronto and how they go based off of getting Georgi Mihailovic from the trade. But that's a tough question. We've still yet to see the best of Aronson and MLS. And to be honest, I could see this team bottoming him out in the West. I don't think this team's going to be much of a threat to anybody this year.
Yeah. It's hard to tell, right? He could have an amazing season, and even then, though, I still question like what the ceiling of this team is.
I mean, on top of that, they have a new coach too, Matt Wells.
Yeah,
so
I was saying no Armas, and again, I don't know if Armas was a good or a bad thing for the Rapids, and he quickly moved on to his next gig in women's soccer. But man, I don't know.
Where's he at right now? Some NWSL team or something?
The Kansas City team, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right.
I can't wait to see the Current and Denver Cushing versus Armas. I can't wait to see that absolute shit show of a
former NYCFC. Love it. Greatest manager NYCFC had quite some time.
Dude, I can't wait to troll the shit out of that account, bro. When they lose their first game.
All right, and with that said, we're moving on. Let's go to Dallas, brother. Dallas. Guys, come on, bro. It's MLS Cup or bust, dog. You see the
I think
I'll say this. Maybe a ballsy take, and maybe it's a little bit of bias. That's okay.
I would have said flip a coin.
I think we're a lock, bro. I think we're the exact same team we were last season with a couple of interesting upgrades, and that's it. Like, honestly, Dallas might be the most predictable team in 2026.
And that's why.
Does Musa stay though?
God, I hope so. I think we're prepared for a world where he doesn't, but it's so difficult to say that, right? Because you look at the contributions over the last 2 seasons, and he's quite literally 65 to 70% of all goal contributions for Dallas in that time. In my opinion, he is the most underrated attacker that Dallas have, and might be the most underrated attacker that in the league, in my opinion. I feel like he's not talked about enough. He might get to go to a World Cup.
I think
Like,
he was
we'll
he was in the mix for the Golden Boot for a little bit, right?
Yeah, he was top
at
5.
the
He was
end.
top 5 for a while. And bro, he ended with like what? It was 18 goals,
18, 17.
yeah, something like that. It was an insane year considering that Dallas at one point didn't win a game for like 2.5 months.
So basically, the offense is Musa or bust.
So I have a hot take though. I really believe, based on what I saw a little bit last season, I know Honda loves him too, bro. Big dog Logan Farrington is so good. He's so good for me, bro. Like I can't glaze this man enough. Like I feel like I told everybody these last couple of weeks while we're doing this FC Dallas previews that I believe he's poised for a breakout year. I think Petar Musa, whether he stays or goes, finally has some help up front. I think the bigger issue comes when one of those guys isn't available, meaning like through injury or something else. If Musa gets tired or maybe doesn't keep up the same form we've seen, or if he gets sold, like who else is going to start up there with Logan? Maybe is Anderson Julio. That's probably who it's going to end up being. And he's got a ton of speed, a ton of verticality, but I don't think he's he's not anywhere as clinical as Petar Musa. So there's some question marks up front, but that wing back that we just signed, Johansson, the Swedish guy, everything I've seen so far, pretty damn good. And the one area that I feel like we really should have strengthened was just center back, which we still haven't technically done. Nolan Norris will probably start as a third center back to kick off the 2026 season. Which, if you don't know anything about Nolan Norris, the guy's literally, he's a kid. He's a kid, a homegrown product. Started off as a midfielder, has some time at outside back, but has never started at center back. And that's how much confidence you can tell this team has in Ibeagha as a center back. So I'm going to say here, I think in all honesty, we probably, if Petar Musa stays, I have no doubt in my mind we make playoffs. But again, I think we go out in the first round and depending on who it is, on the Vancouver team, something along those lines, and then that'll be that. So,
to be fair, you guys gave him a good push in that second game.
Yeah, when we lost the PKs, that was it's like I hate moral victories, bro. I hate them. It's like the worst thing ever. I can't stand moral victories, but there was a little bit of a moral victory, I guess you could say, considering how bad we were. All right, man. Any major disagreements? Anybody move that Dallas pick?
No, I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
We could leave it there.
I'd say it's pending. I mean, if Musa leaves, it's obviously flip a coin. But
yeah,
bro, if Musa leaves,
but for now,
cry on stream, bro. It's gonna be insane. It would suck. But Farrington should be good. He should be good. We'll see what happens. All right, man. The other Texas team. We're about to have all 3 Texas teams up here at the same time. Houston. It'd be great to have Hector for this one, but I will say the Ache actually is that done? That's a done deal.
Yeah.
How do we feel? Does he upgrade Houston immediately back to what they were before him leaving?
No.
Why not?
They brought in Matty Bogusz. They brought in Guillermo Bure, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't think this team. I mean, Jack McGlynn's still there. So to me, I think this team is kind of in the flip a coin range. They could be a playoff team, but I wouldn't say they're a playoff lock. You know, it could go south again for them. I mean, a lot of investment went into this team, but let's see how they kind of gel together.
I could see them being the 8-9 seed at the end of it.
Yeah, but just fighting for those wild card spots at the end of the season.
Yeah. I could see them being one of the teams.
I was going to say I wouldn't really expect much from Ache anymore at this point. I mean, I think he's kind of lost his legs a little bit. I mean, yes, he made a final push with Toluca to kind of get the back-to-back in Mexico, but I just don't think he's got the legs anymore. I mean, can he provide something off the bench? A game here and there probably, but I just don't think he's got the legs to continue helping pushing this team forward. I mean, we kind of seen what he was there. I mean, he did contribute a lot, but given the fact that they're in need of other things as well, I think creatively and offensively, that's something that they kind of lacked last year as well. So it's kind of one of those things where. Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of what they're looking for, right? So it's like you don't really know what they really have, and they could be, fighting for a playoff spot rather than a playing spot. But I mean, time will tell. I mean, it's kind of difficult to really know. I mean, because they're another team that's very up and down as well. So
yeah, Matty Bogusz. Do we feel like, considering all the other holes Houston has, is that legitimately a signing that takes them? I'm not going to say over the top, right? But elevates them significantly in comparison to last year or even the last couple of years.
I'm not as excited as Matty Bogusz as I am Facundo Torres, and that's kind of my kind of take on it. I think they overpaid for Matty Bogusz a bit. kind of a weird landing spot for him because I never thought he was that guy. Maybe like the fourth guy, sure, but the number one guy, I'm not so sure of it just yet.
Yeah, at LAFC, what was he? He was kind of was he behind Martinez?
So he was kind of like like a fake striker, like a false nine almost. And he scored a lot of goals, but he also had a lot of good players around him.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing when you play at a talented team like LAFC, like they're so worried about marking the Suns and the Buwangas that you forget about a player like Matty Bogusz, who's pretty good in his own right, and he has moments, and he can shoot him from long distance as well. He has a fair decent amount of long shot goals in MLS. So, but whether that could be translated over to Houston, that's a question mark that we're gonna have to see as the season goes on.
Did anybody watch him in Liga MX?
Yeah, or go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did watch him in Liga MX as well too. Like for Cruz Azul, he wasn't as dangerous as he was in LAFC. Again, Cruz Azul was running a little bit slower game when he was there, but as well, Houston, right? A bunch of central players. That's what they're relying on. I don't see anybody going down the wings, so that's going to be an issue. You might even see Bogusz in the center mid.
Bobby, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say. I mean, he's not in Liga MX or in Europe for a reason, right? So there's kind of that. He very similar to Brandon Vasquez. He kind of fluttered for a bit, and then he's back in the league. But I don't know. I think with Matty Bogusz, it's gonna be like I almost think he's like a Dejan Joveljic. Like he can do well. And he's a good enough player for the MLS, but is he a superstar caliber guy to kind of put this team in playoff contention? And I don't think so. Personally,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I didn't watch him Liga MX. I had no idea what to expect.
Is Giacomakis still at Cruz Azul, or did he leave to?
He left, right?
He's in Greece now.
Yeah, he left. Left too. Yeah, I just some of these marquee MLS players who moved on to Mexico. I've seen more than a few of them now, like just depart quickly for whatever reason. I don't know if it's lack of game time, really not a good fit, just not good enough. But I think that should be. It should be talked about more when you think about those guys coming back to the league. So I think it says something about MLS on a broader scale. So you're saying that Bogusz is not someone you're picking up on kickbase, Fabi?
On this team, I'm looking at a little bit more like Jack McGlynn, a guy who has an opportunity to kind of make that next step for his team and to be in Europe. So I always like Europe hungry guys because I think they're going to give it their all when you're lining up a fantasy lineup.
I'm kind of surprised he's still here because everybody thought he'd be gone in 6 months.
Exactly.
Yeah. There was all those rumors last season that he was like, you guys aren't going to get a full season with McGlynn.
Wasn't it like Como FC in Italy that was interested in him, or some other Italian team?
It was I think a smaller Italian team, but I'm not sure if I remember correctly.
It might have been Parma. I can't remember.
No, that's Kremaski.
Oh yeah. You're right. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where he's a good player. I don't know if it takes Houston over the top. I don't think Bogusz does either. But the fact that they're actually signing some pieces and not just relying upon the same old heads they've been relying upon, I think is somewhat positive for Houston. But I can't call it. So for that reason, I'm inclined to agree with Fabi here.
Well, it's funny that you said that because you're like they're not going to do the same with the same old heads, and then they bring back Ache. It's like
he's got that dog, man. Like I feel like this team needs that. Like they need, I don't know, man. Like
what was his contract? 12 months?
Yeah, probably something.
12-month contract?
Because he's like what, 36, 37?
He's gonna definitely come off the bench. I don't think he's gonna start.
I mean, I was gonna say even for Toluca there at the end, he was barely getting any minutes. So
yeah,
I think just from that perspective, I don't know what much he could really bring to the team. I
guess he's a good locker room guy. So
that's what I'm saying. I think he's like a leadership guy, a good locker room guy. I think he offers some respite when McGlynn maybe needs some rest. I don't know how much he's actually going to offer on the pitch, but who knows? And look, and if he scores like a banger from distance, which is like his bread and butter, I mean, it might a couple of those a season, and it might just be worth it. Who knows? We'll find out, man. All right, let's go to Sporting Kansas City. Not the sexiest team to talk about, but I think at the end of the day, they're making some progress. How do we feel about them? John, give me yours, man. Where do you put Sporting Kansas City?
Right there.
Next year? Next year, brother. Next year.
This is what happens.
Next year is their year.
This is what happens when David Lee takes over at your front office.
He
I was
just got there, bro. He
I don't
literally
care.
just got
I don't
there.
care,
I'll
man.
say this. I'll say this.
Guys already hating, bro. It's fucking
This
wild.
is a team with minimal investment over the last couple of years, and it shows as to why they are where they are.
$700 million team.
Well,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's not good investments. Like it's a lack of like I just don't know, and I don't see where other than like Jovic. Like what else do they have? Like they don't really have anything.
They got your boy Reynolds. Justin Reynolds.
Yeah, I mean,
they got Ronaldo's discovery rights, so
yeah,
they want to trade that away.
True. They have Ronaldo's discovery rights, bro. I'm
like it's just kind of like for a team that has won championships in the past, just kind of see where they are. It is a little frustrating for their fan base because given the fact that yes, they made playoffs. They had that year where they beat St. Louis and they were all going crazy. That was their MLS Cup final. After that, literally done nothing. So I don't know. I don't really have high hopes for them this year. And the best thing that I can say is just stay positive, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to really shoot for anything else.
Yeah, I think it's just a transition year. I think the David Lee slander is kind of crazy because I do feel like he's getting rid of a lot of deadwood right now. I think you just see a ton of departures from KC as opposed to like what's coming in.
All this guy did the last few years of NYCFC was just play FM in his office and pretend.
Fair, but what I'm saying is that like this club, KC, needed someone to come in and just clean house a little bit. Tommy had been there for I don't know how long. They just got rid of Russell this past season. You had some old heads that had just been there. You know what I mean? That like you kind of just associate them with Sporting KC. You need to
you still have like Saloy. That name is still around.
Crazy.
But no, I think these guys are going to be a contender, but for the wooden spoon.
I was like, hold on. I was like, wait. I don't know where Bobby's going with this. Yeah, bro. You know what? I'm right there with you. It's just a transition year. Next year, we'll see. Maybe they have a big window. They get rid of a lot of deadwood and just I say big window from the sense of like players that will actually move the needle, whether they're big signings or not. So we'll find out, man. But we don't need to like spin circles on Sporting KC.
Yeah, the only guy I would really think of lining up in my lineup would be like a Jake Davis or a Jovic. That's really it.
Jovic still had numbers last year, right? Even with how bad they were. Yeah. So hey, man, guys like that can produce no matter what are in my fantasy team every day of the week.
Free my boy Jovic.
Free my boy. Alex, you're like send him back, bro.
Send him to New York. We need a striker. Why don't you get him over here?
Yeah, bro.
We need a striker.
If Patar Musa leaves, I will gladly knock on KC's door. All right, let's figure out how this goes with the LAFC. I think we can all agree, right?
That's self-explanatory.
Yeah,
Do we even have to say much? Like,
no, I don't think so. How much? Let's answer this question though, and I want to start with Favi because I feel like, dude, you've been everywhere since Hugman's son came to the league.
Oh yeah, man.
What's how much pressure is on this team to win everything this season?
As of right now, not that much. I think after the summer transfer window and Griezmann becomes black and gold, a lot. I think they're gonna get a big guy in the transfer window. They're holding that third DP slot for a reason. They didn't give it to Espinoza for a reason. So I think they're expecting a big guy to come in and fill that third DP slot for them. I'm kind of, this is a hot take, and I've said it a couple times already. I'm kind of thinking, Son's gonna win MVP. I think if you kind of look at his numbers last year when Bouanga and him were on a tear, if you actually extended his games all the way out to maybe about 30 games, he would have had 30 goals. It would have been very similar to like a Carlos Vela-esque type of season. And now he's going to have another year in MLS. He's going to be before a World Cup. While on the other hand, I think Messi's going to slow down a bit. I think Messi is finally going to kind of prioritize the World Cup in a way where you're going to see him kind of with the same run-up he had in Copa America, where he has a knock or he has tightness and he doesn't play this game. While you have, Son on the other side, just, playing with Bouanga and scoring boatloads of goals a game.
Yeah, I said that on another pod that I believed Messi was going to have a good start to the season and then just like wind down as we get closer to the World Cup.
So, basically what he did at PSG for that.
Yeah. You just and it's not like he's not trying. It's just legitimately like, hey, if he feels anything whatsoever,
right? Like tightness, anything.
Don't risk it. He's not going to play. He might get a few minutes the next game after that. Like everything's just going to be kind of a slower rollout with him the closer we get to summer.
Do you think that kind of I don't want to make it about Inter Miami, but do you think is that why they don't repeat? Because Messi and it probably takes a couple games off because of maybe fitness related issues.
The league's also more competitive.
I think that's a different story once we get into playoffs. Miami showed last year that everything before the Leagues Cup final, it doesn't really matter because they just turned it on then and they had a crazy run and didn't even matter where they were placed. I mean, they destroyed Cincinnati.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if we'll, and again, no matter what, like you also have to take into account that like it's just difficult to repeat titles. Like it's so difficult, right? MLS has gotten more competitive. There's more big name players here, and the wealth is kind of spread out across the top half of the league. So it's not like it's just the big markets that are reaping all the benefits. So I think it needs to be more difficult for Messi, but at the same time, if they did go on to win it all, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, it's also the nature of American sports as well.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard to repeat in any.
Yeah, bro, it's just how it works, man. It's how it works. But he is in my fantasy lineup for week 1. I tell you, man. Bro. Yeah, man. Not Son. It was difficult, man. It really was. You only get 5 on-field slots, so you got to pick them. You got to pick them and choose them, man. Right. So with kick base, yeah, bro. I literally slotted in Messi because I think the first few weeks he'll probably see some goals, and then again that trajectory downward in terms of production we might start to see it pretty early. So
Messi likes to show out when it's a big stadium, and I think in the Memorial Stadium of LA Coliseum is going to be crazy. I think the DC United Stadium, I think that's the week right after, it's 60,000. They're not going to play at the normal DC United Stadium, so it's going to be like a big tour.
For Messi. They move it to FedEx or M&T.
I'm not so sure. I think it's FedEx, but I may be mistaken.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, with the Commanders play, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think if he's going to be on display, like I said, it maybe just reinforces my point a little bit more. I think we'll see a big showing from him to start, and then he'll be strategic about how.
Weird. They're actually playing the game in Baltimore, so it's M&T Bank Stadium.
Oh, okay. All right, man. It should be good. I think Messi's going to be on full display. But if LAFC take that opening game, man, if Heung-min Son has a banger in week 1, I'm going to regret it with my lineup. But then 2, I think that there's going to be just so much chatter. It'll be so loud from the LAFC fans as they only continue to see more success as the year goes on. So in a World Cup year, man, you never know. All right. Speaking of LA, their neighbors to the south, bro, the Galaxy might be the most difficult team to like really, really predict what they're going to do, because you get Ricky Puig back. They make 2 incredible signings in the window, and I don't know. I'm kind of want to be like, hey, like they're back, right? Like Will Kuntz is moving mad right now. Like the Galaxy are back, right? They're potentially maybe a sneaky contender for 2026.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. They would have been a MLS Cup or bust if they had Ricky, but because they lost one of the best players in the league, and that type of energy and bravado that Ricky brings, it's so hard to replace that in a locker room where the confidence that this little man is going to take us to the cup, So I think it's a playoff lock for the LA Galaxy. That's kind of where I'm slating them at. I think they're going to be in like your 6 or 7 or 4 or 5 kind of slot. But I don't think they're a sneaky contender without Ricky, to be honest.
Hey, bro, they're behind Dallas 100%. 100%. John, chill, bro. Chill. It's fine, man. It's fine. No one's going to care. No one's going to look at this another way. It's totally okay. No, okay, look. Well, I think personally they're somewhere right here. In fact, I would even put them ahead of Austin if I'm being fair, only because of what the signings mean. I think, Davi, talk to me about your boy Justin Hawk, bro. How much do you feel like he's going to impact the Galaxy?
Very versatile. He could play anywhere at center back, or he could play at CDM, even as a center midfielder. But I mean, he was predominantly a center back in his final 2 seasons with us. He actually started playing center back in 2023. That disastrous season where he kind of went for a back 3 for a little bit. It wasn't really that good, but it really wasn't towards the end of 2024 where he started to really solidify that spot as his, and as well as injuries and emergencies of the back line where he emerged as the starter. He played all 34 games alongside Maxi Morales last year, so he's a very versatile player, and we're going to see him week 1, which is kind of like mixed feelings because he's wearing another team's colors in the league, and supposedly he went over to LA because they offered him some incentives. Supposedly that's somebody in the space here told me that. So
Yep.
even though we offered him more money, the LA offered him incentives, and he decided to go for the incentives. So,
yeah, the project speaks to you more too, though. Like,
yeah.
Like, it could just be a better project for him.
I mean, it's a perfect time for him to move to LA because we got snowed up here, so and there's still snow on the ground, so good weather for him. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's already telling the tactics to everybody in the LA coaching staff how we play and how to prevent us from having a good game. So it's going to be a tough first game, and I look forward to it. But best of luck to Justin Hack in LA. It's unfortunate that we weren't able to convince him to stay, but it is what it is. We already replaced him, so that's a fantastic signing for LA. I mean, as well as Jacob Glesnes. I mean, you can literally put
good, bro.
You can literally put Glesnes and Hack in that center backs, and you're like your center back pairing's already set. That's how good of the signings they made in the offseason. So
yeah, and not even just them, right? We know they needed help at striker. They went out and got Klaus. They added a veteran in I guess you could say a veteran to an extent in Tommy as a midfield signing. The Nascimento extension of his loan, I think, was like not well received by a lot of Galaxy fans, but like I still think it's like depth and cover, and he's still a young, hungry forward. Like I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like Kuntz is like after a very, very down year, one in which everybody was calling for the manager to get axed. It's like the vibes are high again, right? Honda, would you agree with that? Like this feels like it's going to be a pretty damn good season.
It's going to be definitely a better season than last season. However,
bro, there's no way it can't not, bro. It has to be like
last season was the worst season we had. Well,
you have to.
One of the worst too in a long time. And here's the thing, right? Hack, Glesnes. I'm like, thank you. And the better portion is we got rid of that bum Zank on the back. Holy crap. He's not defend to save anybody's lives, bro. Like, crazy, I was so glad. I was jumping with freaking joy when I saw that happen. Like, he had to leave. Tommy, I feel like it's just an extra piece that's going to, like, help with depth inside the squad as well, too. It sucks that Ricky Puch is not back, man. Like, he re-aggravated himself. I think it was. That's what happened.
Yeah. How long is he going to be out for?
The whole season.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's missing another year on top.
Yeah, missing another year. Yeah. So that's what I was saying. Like in a normal year, if Puch was like back, right? I literally would be saying like Fabi said, like MLS Cup or bust. I still think though, if you give Vanny another year to figure out this midfield, they brought in Tommy. I think that they have some of the right pieces. And keep in mind, right, that MLS Cup final that Ricky Puch didn't play, they still dominated. Like there's a way for this team to get going. They just got to figure out what that formula looks like. In my opinion,
we brought in
they had a very good midfield that game, though.
Right?
Yeah,
they have a very good midfield. We brought in Joao Klaus, right, which is the striker. I was like, you know what, we kind of did need a striker, even though Christian Ramirez, he started off hot last season. We benched him because it wasn't like really working out for us. But yeah, I've seen in the preseason, right, or like this Coachella Cup and stuff like that. Gabriel Peck, it seems like he's back to his usual self, scoring goals, creating chances, and hopefully he does what he does best.
That's another kick-based pick if I've ever heard one in my life, bro. I think
Peck.
Peck
man. is the guy that you need to kind of take a look at. Another side too is Paintsel. He's fighting for a World Cup slot. I mean, and he's not going to have to play striker this year, so he's back to like full-time winger, looking for a World Cup spot. Possibly a little undervalued because of the season he had last season, along with Peck. I think those two are guys who have a lot of upside in kickbaits for sure.
Yeah, Fabi, before we move on to the next team, can you see Joao Klaus being relevant offensively in this team?
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of high hopes for Joao Klaus, but we're talking about a striker who's never even hit 10 goals in a season yet. Yeah. So, I mean, I think maybe he's going to play a bit of a facilitator in a way. I don't think he's banging in goals. I think maybe he's going to get some assists that shock some people because he's probably going to pull out that line for Peck and Paintsel to kind of, run in behind. And I think that's going to be the bread and butter for the Galaxy this year if they're going to, be sneaking contenders.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I'm so torn on the signing. I have no idea how to feel about it. It's like on paper, this should be a good signing. A lot of Galaxy fans were excited, but it's like for all the reasons you said, I don't know if we have to temper those expectations. I guess we'll find out in the first month.
It's exciting, a little bit of an overpay, but given the situation, I think you had to overpay. So I would love him as a TAM player, not a DP, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, let's move on to just the headline maker, at least this last week or so. James Rodriguez officially signs in for Minnesota United. Where does that propel this group? What tier? It's a good team, by the way. It's a good team.
You want me to be honest?
Yes, bro. Please.
Just playoff locks. I mean,
What? No,
I don't.
No.
Hold on. Let me defend myself.
All right, go ahead.
Let me defend myself here, because I just they lost their goalkeeper, right? They don't have Sinclair no more. So like, is this something that's gonna push them up all the way to contenders? I know they were good last year, but I don't know. I just think that they could use a little bit more. This is not enough to like push it, because I saw James at Leon, and the only time he was motivated when we had like Club World Cup aspirations. After that, he didn't really do much. So James is one of those players that like he's hot when he wants to be, and he's just very bang average.
Guys, for full context, this is a Leon fan talking about James Rodriguez. So I want you guys to take everything that he just said with a grain of salt, because there's a little bit of haterade in there.
How? No, it's not hate. There's no hate. I mean, I appreciated the guy for what he did. He helped us do a lot. At the beginning of the year when we were looking at the Club World Cup, once that fell off, nothing really happened. Like I said, I think that there's a lot of, I don't want to call it laziness, but he picks and chooses when he wants to turn up. I guess.
He tends to burn a lot of bridges at a lot of clubs that he's at. So once things don't go his way at a certain club, he'll just throw a temper tantrum and eventually just get released. I mean, he really hasn't been, I don't know, important at a club since maybe Bayern Munich, maybe Real Madrid. But outside of that, like he's just a journeyman, and he doesn't get his way, he'll just throw his toys out the pram.
Yeah, but this is a big signing. This is a big deal.
It is a big deal,
but it's only for 6 months, so I don't think it's really gonna.
First season at each club, he always bangs it out. That's all.
That's the thing. You say he bangs it out,
but he's only
right?
here for 6 months.
He's only going to be here to warm up to get to Colombia and the World Cup. Like, I mean, like, it's.
But if they're in a favorite position, do you and maybe he doesn't have the offers he's looking for, you don't think he'd ride it out in Minnesota for the rest of the year?
No,
not at all.
No. I could see a world where he retires after the World Cup too.
That's actually, like, I could see that 100%. I mean, he's at that age already, and I don't know how much left is left to go after him.
I think this is a little bit high for them personally. I think they're flip a coin FC. It could go completely south too. I think maybe James kind of takes the messy approach where if he feels tightness or anything, he's not going to risk it for anything, because he's number one objective is to play for Colombia in the World Cup. So you might not see a lot of James these 6 months, but I know who's happy. That's Minnesota United, the ticket salespeople, and MLS with those jerseys. Yeah. And I think in a way where he's going to have a super big on-field presence, I don't know. It's too early to tell for me.
Yeah, I think honestly the biggest move that we haven't mentioned that really impacts this team outside of Dane St. Clair is the managing change. I think Ramsey gone. I credit much of Minnesota's, I say success, but I mean just literally being one of the top teams in the West over the last couple seasons to Ramsey. And more importantly, you guys didn't see, Josh Wolf got hired as their assistant coach. So yeah, this team might be done. They might be cooked.
Who did they hire again? Head coach? Who's their head coach now?
They promoted from within. Cameron, was it Knowles?
Yeah, I did see that promotion.
Something like that. They promoted from within.
Their keeper's calendar, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, move it down to 2027. Let's go.
Bro, that's crazy. That's crazy. No, we'll keep him here. I think Drake Calendar's not that bad, bro. He's not that bad. He's not Dane St. Clair, but he's not that bad.
There's a reason why he's not in Miami,
because he couldn't speak Spanish.
There you go, bro. And low key, he wouldn't have gotten all those looks with how competitive the U.S. men's national team goalkeeping core is if he wasn't at least halfway legit. So I don't know. That's less of a concern. It's more about the leadership from the top and like how that affects the rest of the team. But and combine that with James and what he wants to do or doesn't want to do, we'll see how it all nets out for Minnesota.
Hey, I mean, if they can sell a couple of $195 jerseys, I mean, they'll be good.
So you're not taking James in kick-based fantasy then?
I wouldn't.
Unless you have his phone number and he tells you that he's gonna play. I think you need to worry a little bit about James. If we're taking a look at a guy who's probably going to do well at Yeboah, I think Yeboah is going to have maybe a little bit of a resurgence. I think he's a very, very talented striker in this league and shows up in big moments. So I think maybe he could see some sort of resurgence now that they're not playing terror ball and they're going to be playing a little bit more of a holding kind of 10 position.
Last question before we move on. It could be a simple yes or no. Who's going to go down as the better signing for Minnesota United? James Rodriguez or Emmanuel Reynoso?
Probably James.
I think Reynoso. I don't know. As me.
I don't know. The way it ended with Reynoso was actually kind of crazy. I smiled when I put that question out there. So I think it really impacts how Loons fans think about.
Me personally, I think Quintero was better than both of them, but that's just me.
yeah.
Fair. It is, yeah, I'm not mad at that. All right, man.
I think every game is a sellout already for their home games. So I think 100% James.
Yeah. For that reason alone, right? It's like at a bare minimum, he put asses in seats. That's all that really matters. All right, Portland Timbers. Oh God, bro, I have such a love-hate relationship with this fan base.
Is Neville still there as their coach?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you might want to. Yeah, I mean,
2027.
This team should be good, but they never.
Here's the thing about them. They're just so inconsistent. It's always so hard to really say like this team's gonna do good. Like the weeks whenever we do our predictions, every time we talk, how's Portland looking like this week? And you're confident. You take them. You're like, hey. I got Portland. Portland's bad. They should do good. And they just shit the bed. Like, we got to – this team
John's been burned too many times already.
You know how many times I've been burnt by Portland? Like, just in the sense of things. Like, I think at the end of the day, like, this is a team that's very up and down. And I think they struggle to find their own identity as a team. Yeah.
They brought in Bassett from Colorado, and then they brought in Brandon Bai as well. So they do have some new guys. DaCosta should have a better year. I mean – He's a good get so far. I thought he did pretty good. But in terms of
they let go of Alaya to Miami, right? Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they had to transfer in for Ayala, so they're going to be a little bit weak in the midfield. But
Crepeau's gone on a free transfer. Santi Moreno left last summer.
Yeah.
I think but for the most part, you see this team just doing a lot of this. Like they don't have consistency, and I think especially a lot. Well, I feel like in the West, it's a little forgivable because I feel like from the recency in the last couple of years, the West has been a little bit more lenient when it comes to consistency because a lot of the teams that haven't been so consistent have still managed to make playoffs. So I feel like they've made playoffs based on that fact alone rather than the fact that they're actually good. They have good players. I just don't think the manager is the right manager to guide them into where they need to be. I think at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think they also benefit from the teams below them just not being as good.
That's my one consensus with Portland was there was a point I got ripped apart by people in the comments on this last year, but I think it ended up being right. They didn't beat they did not, I guess, punch above their weight one time last season. Every team they beat, they should have beaten them, and there were plenty of teams ahead of them. That you want to see Neville and this Portland Timbers team really contest, really show that in a playoff atmosphere, they can bring it. They can make the opening round one best of 3 series super close. And we just haven't seen that. And it's not for the lack of ambition. They're making signings. I like the Cole Bassett transfer, believe it or not. I thought he was actually pretty damn good for what he was supposed to be in Colorado. And I think he offers something moving forward in the attack. I don't know enough about Brandon Bai to offer a consensus on him, but I don't know. I feel like this is a team that should be good, but will find a way to let us down. 100%.
The only credible team I saw them beat last year on FOTMA was LAFC. And everything else is a bunch of red, gray, and
I'm telling you, man. There was one point 3 quarters away in the season where fans were like we're beating XYZ teams. Look at this. I'm like, go look at your entire schedule.
Yeah, well,
there's not a single team
you're beating up on the shit teams in your conference.
Yeah, the West is pretty bad. At the end,
we had this conversation. We had this conversation last year, and I remember this conversation because I brought it up to you, and I was just kind of like I was more or less poking the bear more than anything. But in that conversation that we had, it was more or less like Portland had gone on a good run. They started off like there was a gap where they had a really good show in form. And then I think you were arguing to the point that they just hadn't played anyone.
It was like Sporting KC, it was Colorado, it was
Houston Dynamo.
Yeah, it was just these teams. St. Louis City was in there, I'm sure. Like it was just these teams like they should be winning these games for who they've signed recently, for how ambitious this club has been, for what Providence Park is, for what we know it to be as far as the fan base goes. They just deserve a whole lot more, and I think it comes down to the manager. I think if Neville doesn't get it done in terms of like, let's say, get past the opening round of playoffs or just finish above the expectation, I think.
Here's my prediction on that. I think he's going to be one of the first managers sacked.
Yeah, I was going to say if he doesn't get off to a decent start here, I think he can get the axe pretty quickly.
I'm tipping him to get the axe because if the team has, invested a good amount of money into the roster, and there's just no showing of it in terms of performance at the beginning of the year, come World Cup time, he's gone. There's just no other way to go about it.
We'll see. I agree with this, though. I think it's flip a coin FC. I wouldn't change that for anything. You might move some of these teams around within the tier, but I think that's probably spot on. All right. Real Salt Lake. We know about Mastroeni's men. We know about Diego Luna. There is a chance Diego Luna departs after the World Cup. That's also a possibility. But even with that, bro, even if he stays, I just don't feel good about this Real Salt Lake team. I'll be so for real. To me, they're down here.
Yeah, I would have said top of 27, maybe bottom of flip a coin. I think I'd put him over Kansas City. Yeah,
I'm totally fine with that.
I'm okay with that because Diego Luna may be on his way out, and I think without Diego Luna, this team really has no identity after that, to be honest. And there's a lot of question marks in this squad. It's going to be tough seeing them kind of do anything in this Western Conference this time around.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like they need almost like a fresh start. Like get them going with get Luna out, repurpose those funds. Let's see how we can make this team a little more complete. They have some pieces here and there between the keeper, between Brian Vera. There's like pieces here and there, but I just
Vera's in Montreal now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he moved on. So like, yeah, bro, literally, like just there's small key pieces that if they're not even there anymore, like what are we talking about at the end of the day? So
this is not the RSL of a few years ago where they were playing well, having consistency. It's just not that team anymore. And if you take Luna out of, we saw what they were last year. Taking Luna out of that, I just don't see any positive movement for them going forward.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's very fair what you say. Kind of spot on. Like if they just need to repurpose those funds at the end of the day, they got to rebuild. And yeah, I mean, this could be a year maybe where they use some of the young players, see what they have, and kind of just go from there.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's move on to San Jose. Fabi, this is your team, bro. Talk to me about the Quakes, man. How we feeling?
2027 is our year, all right? I'm not
no, man. Come on.
This is how like an old school band is called, Timo Werner and the Boys, all right? Like this is I don't know if this is the crash test dummy for Bruce Arena. Like, is this a heat check for him? Like, does he still got it? Like I don't understand why he thinks like all these young guys are gonna just play their hearts out. I mean, this is a tough one because it's like, how do you get away with getting rid of 40 goals or like 30 goals and expect to do well the next year? Yeah, you bring in a guy like Timo Werner, but who's passing the ball to him, So the Quakes are going to bring in one more guy probably before the season, but looking at this roster right now, I mean, guys like Bo LaRue are probably going to make the next jump, but a guy like Nico Sekiris is going to have to make the next jump too, but who knows? Maybe they get a $3 million offer from another MLS team, and then this team is bare bones, man. Like I don't see this team having anything to really ride off into the sunset with, unless I don't know, Bruce calls Landon Donovan back or something. I don't know. I really don't see anything this team has this year, unfortunately. And I know the young guys are going to ball out and they're going to do well, but is that enough in today's MLS? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I want to be optimistic and say, yeah, Timo will just be different than he was at any other club in Europe, and he'll start just finishing, not shanking it over the bar.
We'll have more Fortnite wins and goals this season, that's for sure.
All I'm saying is that, like, it's just, if you're going to lose someone of Espinosa's caliber, you got to have someone who at a minimum, I don't know, is not a pace merchant, right? They're legitimately like not the fastest guy, but are going to find a way to contribute and connect the dots in the attack. Well, if no one can get the ball, Timo Werner, he's basically useless.
Yeah, Timo is also a second striker. Are you going to run out Paul Judd every game? Is Paul Judd a starting level striker in this league today? I mean, I think Danny Musovski got pretty lucky, with the goals he had. No,
I mean, fair. I'm not mad at that.
Hey, look, but also you're talking about an MLS where you got guys like Son, Mueller, Brandon Vasquez, you have good players around the league, and I just think Timo Werner is a big question mark in himself.
Yeah, over under on double-digit goal contributions for Timo Werner this season.
I'm saying over.
I think you'll get that.
Someone has to score. Okay, someone
All
has
right.
to score.
It might take 50 attempts. But he might get you the 10.
Is he going to get 50 attempts?
I don't know. I don't know if we'll get that many attempts. I mean, maybe. But that's the thing, right? I think the volume of opportunities will be low. And I think he's just not a clinical enough finisher to – that's why I asked about double-digit GA. It's like the assist might not even be a factor when you really think about it. But the goals, I don't know, man. I think
in MLS, you get secondary assists. So –
Oh. Even then, bro. Even then, I don't know. It's tough, bro. It's tough. You can't do it by yourself. Espinoza proved that over the last how many years, right? So
that's a crazy story. If that's true.
Oh yeah, the
DM didn't re-sign him because he just forgot. Yeah.
I'm not saying I hope somebody got fired, but there needs to be consequences for actions.
Definitely.
Chris Leach did get fired, so he was the GM or the person at least handling Bruce Arenas kind of things, but he was already out the door too. So it's not like, do you believe it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is that how it went down? I have no idea, but I mean, if that is how it happened, yeah.
My thing is, how do you get rid of a club legend without the fan base hating that legend?
It's impossible.
Right. Impossible. How do you let a guy go really truly try for a trophy without the fan base turning on him?
Yeah. There's no way. It doesn't matter who it is. That whole fan base. I mean, you're public enemy number one. It's just how it's always going to work. So,
or you could just do the Cosito and just retire and then unretire 6 months later.
Fair.
But now nobody hates him, so it's interesting.
Yeah. Bro, if he had gone to some of the teams that were rumored, if he had gone to LAFC, if he had gone somewhere else, bro, that level of hate would be hitting astronomical levels. But no, at the end of the day, Nashville, I guess, is not the worst spot for him to end up in.
Yeah, I think anywhere outside of California would have been
anywhere
good.
out of the West too. It's just like, hey, you don't have to see him every year. You don't have to see him multiple times a season. So yeah, I think it works out well for both parties if you have to let him go. All right, man. Seattle, playoff lock, or are they a contender already because they're the Sounders?
I think they're sneaky contenders always.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
they won Leagues Cup. They dismantled Miami in a final with 60,000 fans.
Yeah, bro. But they lost Oben.
They did lose Oben.
Yeah.
But if anybody's academy has kind of proven themselves as of the last couple of years, it's definitely the Sounders. So the Sounders just find these guys from Seattle that just pop out of nowhere, man. And they just throw them out there for years to come, and they become household names in Seattle. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a game where you're Jackson Reagan and you're as cool as any superstar in that city, right? People love you, man. It's insane to me to when I go to Seattle.
Probably not right now because they just won the Super Bowl, but
they're
pretty high up there. Yeah,
I think beating Messi and Miami in the Leagues Cup final was almost same difference. I lived in Seattle for 7-8 years. It's just the love for their sports teams is so immense.
Dude,
Russell Wilson, Cam Chancellor, and Jordan Morris, dog. This is Seattle.
That's so crazy.
I'm so glad Russ is out of the Giants.
Yeah, no, but legitimate Seattle Pac Northwest royalty. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that Jordan Morris. It just helps that he's from that area too. He's
right.
Same things like Georgie last year popped up out of nowhere. I felt or to an extent, and then
dude, I mean, it ran so deep that he turned down the Bundesliga to stay at home.
Yeah, he literally was like playing for the Tacoma Stars locally before we got to the Sounders. I'm like, bro, where the hell do they find these kids, man?
Well, I mean, it is so like the Sounders, like I hate to say this, but their establishment, man, their practice facilities, the way they treat everybody in their front office, they run that club like it's Real Madrid, and it's working as of right now.
Yeah, Starfire is absolutely gorgeous complex, man. I love checking it out whenever I get a chance to
I think that the only thing that could top off the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl at Levi's would be if Seattle wins a trophy at Providence Park.
Oh yeah, that would be insane. That would be insane. I wouldn't put it past them. All right, man. A few teams here left, and we'll call it quits. St. Louis City. All right, bro. Where do you fit in?
You can chuck them in there. I think
let Kansas City and St. Louis fight it out amongst themselves.
They can argue in the comments to see who's gonna have a worse season. I don't really care,
bro. It's crazy how far the mighty have fallen since like 2023. It's so wild to me. It's football, soccer in general as a sport is one of the greatest humblers in life.
It's a one hit wonder. One hit wonder club until it's
and
not.
I don't know if it's due to club leadership or if they're just throwing things at the wall, hoping that they stick. From everybody from the sporting director down to any individual.
I think they got.
I was gonna say here's my question to you. Do you think they got maybe a little bit overconfident with the amount of successes they had initially?
Yeah, for sure.
No, I don't think so. Actually, I don't think so. I think they saw the success. I don't think it's overconfidence. I think they thought they could replicate that to an extent, and when they went so far south the next year, they overcorrected. That's what I think happened. When they fired
Carnell.
Oh. Yeah. When they fired Carnell, I thought that was a terrible move. And look what he's doing in Philly, right? Like obviously, like it to me, he felt like a pretty good manager. It's just difficult to replicate that level of success as an expansion club in a league like this. But he wasn't given any grace. He got maybe half a season. They let him go, and they've been downhill ever since. I just think they needed to be a little more patient. It felt like they were pushing too hard, too quickly to get back to where they were. And that's just not how the sport works. I think you have ebbs and flows, and you got to be, I think, mentally strong enough to deal with those peaks and valleys. So, yeah, I don't think they were overconfident. I just think they panicked too quickly when they couldn't replicate that success fast enough. But yeah, we'll see.
And in kickbase, look at the defenders here. You're looking at Fall, Roman Berkey. That's really it. I mean,
Roman Berkey, bro. How long does he stay in St. Louis?
I mean, he resigned this offseason. I thought he was seriously about to go to the Galaxy to play with Royce, but no, he stayed. So
yeah, I don't know, man.
What is it? Another 12 months that he signed for?
Yeah. So I don't know, man. He's too good of a keeper to just be. I don't want to say he's being wasted in St. Louis, but it's just like you want him on a team that's competing for titles.
They did get Edelman, who's a decent midfielder. So
yeah,
it's a good sign.
Yeah. It's not bad. But again, it's not going to revolutionize that club. Let's be honest.
Yeah. No.
All right, man. Two powerhouses to round things out. Let's start with Vancouver.
Up top.
Cupper boss.
Come on.
Yeah, man. I think it has to be. I think Muller's got his eyes on it. He's got more time with this team. Did they lose any major pieces?
They lost Nelson. That's pretty much it. But he was coming off the bench. But besides that, they kept everybody. They were able to kind of keep Berhalter at bay. Blackman having a ghost transfer to Miami never happened, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they were able to keep pretty much everybody, which is pretty shocking when you look at a team that reached MLS Cup and you had to get rid of some people because of all those bonuses. So
yeah,
no, this team is going to go for MLS Cup again, and they may be contenders for the Supporter Shield as well.
Yeah, man. I think it's gonna be I'm so not all in on Vancouver, but basically. And again, to me, Jay Nesson is still a decent strategic piece to lose. He went to Austin, right? Was that what he signed with?
Yeah.
Because of his speed, just the pace he offers. Like with 30 minutes to play, you could throw him in there, and it's just like having a second lung for the rest of the team.
You kind of have that with Sabi now, though.
Yeah. That's fair. And they still have more than enough pieces around him, right? By keeping Berhalter, keeping GOLZ, Muller, everybody else in place. And that's why they lost Vite last season.
The stadium situation's a freaking nightmare because they're going to have to get out of there because they're going to prepare that stadium for the World Cup. So
yeah, but at least now it's not as much of a nightmare or like overhanging cloud as it was prior to the success we saw them have in the latter half of last season. Like it just feels like it's in a better place because there's everything.
There's still nobody like interested in like buying the team and keeping them there. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. But
that's tough. But I hope they get a stadium of their own because they deserve it.
Yeah, I agree. And then finally, Can San Diego repeat the same level of success we saw in 2025?
I don't know if they can.
Honestly, I'm always picking them not to, and I'm always wrong with San Diego. I mean, I almost want to say playoff locks, man. I'm always like disrespecting them in terms of I don't believe in it, and I don't know. Can Dreyer do it again, especially without Chucky Lozano like playing a single game? You know, like
Dreyer was so good last season, though.
Can he do it again?
Good. Isn't he in line? But he's in a World Cup year too, right? I mean, for Denmark, right? So I think he has to show out. Like he has to obviously earn his spot. He credited MLS, which I thought was awesome to hear him say that. He credited MLS as like his pathway to getting back in. I don't know. I think he'll be motivated.
I was gonna say I don't think it's a disrespectful thing to say that they're playoff locks, though. I mean, because I think it's hard. Like I go back to that point, right, where we see all these expansion clubs do well the first year, and there's always some sort of slippage. So I think that is to be expected. I think they should temper their expectations and not assume that they're just because they had a good year last year, they're just going to automatically be that again. Because like we see this all the time, right? Teams get found out. There's a lot of there's more tape on this team now than there was the year before. So early on, a lot of the wins that they were able to muster up, towards the beginning of the season, they might have a little bit more challenges, as we're kind of moving forward. But I do think that they are still a good team. I think that they kind of, as I look at the rosters and I look at the differences between an Austin, St. Louis, I feel like the difference between them and San Diego is San Diego feels like it's a little bit more stable. There's a little bit more stability. There's like a vision of what they want moving forward, and I think they're pushing for that. And so for them, I don't think it's disrespectful to put them in a playoff lock, given the fact that they just had a lot of success last year, where I feel like it's natural to have a little bit of a fall off. And hey, being a playoff club in this league is not a bad thing. So I think for them, it's just about trying to find certain pieces and trying to see if things work together here, and just continue trying to spring forward and just see what they have.
Yeah,
but also not approach it with we're gonna be top of the West and we're gonna do. It's just not. It's not. It's not natural for that.
Whatever happened in that locker room, whatever happened between Mikey Varas and Chucky Lozano must have been so bad, because Mikey Varas literally said Chucky is not in our plans, when he literally said we're pissing away $6 million out the door to just say this statement, right? Like he could have started him in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Maybe there's an offer for him, but no, he flat out said he is not a part of the plans, he
literally opened himself to low ball offers, literally.
Yeah, 100%. And it's so hard to kind of repeat success with dead weight DPs. I mean, the Galaxy knew that for years, right? So I think you have to cut it. I mean, at this point, maybe waive him, right? Like open up a slot so that you can get the extra GAM and change your kind of whole situation. Because if he's not going to play any of these games, you're just hurting your team at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I keep in mind, right? I mean, Chucky Lozano is a big name to lose, but they signed Lewis Morgan, not the sexiest name in the world, but he came out of the Red Bulls, has European experience, just like Dreyer. Iloski for me was the big one. And I think that one to me is like you look at it and you kind of look at what this team could be offensively. They need some players to repeat the crazy form we saw in 2025. But I agree. If they take a little bit of a step back, I still have them in playoffs. Like I just do. I just feel like it would be a massive letdown to the entire San Diego community if they did not make playoffs in the Western Conference. If you had to pick one there.
Why don't they just shoot Sporting Kansas City over an offer for Joveljic, and you can have Chucky Lozano? Like let's
send Chucky to Kansas City.
Let's just send Chucky to Kansas City. He's the star of that team. He fills in stadiums for them. Hey man, this is a win-win.
David Lee's allergic to signing players, so I don't. If he wants to sell Joveljic, I mean he'll probably, I don't know.
He'll find a way. He'll find a way. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. But look, I think considering what we know about them, I would love to see San Diego do more business before the window's done. I think we will still see some light business here and there, but I think for the most part, I feel really good about the list we put together. I think it makes sense. I think the top two teams are by far. I think some people would still throw San Diego and MLS Cup or bust because of what we saw last year, but I think that's just recency bias. I think by the end of it, this whole thing, there's going to be a falling out of the seed contenders. One of those three will underperform significantly. I just don't know which one yet. So if you have any take on that little piece right there in the comments, let me know, man, who you guys have kind of shifting or making the biggest shift across any one of these tiers as far as the Western Conference is considered in 2026. But man, I'm super excited. Just us doing this right now, getting ready for the new season. We got Favi here talking about not just MLS, but Kickbase. Before we get out of here, bro, talk to me about Kickbase, the fantasy game, why it's different than anything MLS has done recently, bro, before we get out of here.
Yeah, look, the biggest thing I'm excited about Kickbase is that, one, you kind of have a face to fantasy, which a lot of the years prior, you didn't really have anybody to really talk to or kind of to reach out to. That's what's nice about Kickbase is that we're here, we're listening. It's also really of a neat app. I mean, the biggest thing is making the UI kind of nice and easy to use. And fantasy MLS, that hasn't been a thing before, right? And a big thing about it is we're going to have some fun with just like weekly challenges. We're going to have challenges that are kind of hard to really even fathom at this point. Like, for example, you have to line up one of the 5 USMNT players in the World Cup. We'll have fun with it. And since I'm an MLS sicko, I'll make sure that the other MLS sickos enjoy it as well. But yeah, I mean, you can download Kickbase now in the App Store and on Android and iOS, and we're the new home of MLS Fantasy. So you get the first 2 months free. That's going to change later, closer to the start of the season. So definitely hop on that now.
Yeah, man. And look, what I'll notice, just going to the app myself, whether you want to play in a season-long competition with friends or just open lobbies against the community, either way, it's totally possible. I already have a lineup built on my side for week 1. I think it's going to be super fun to play. So if anybody does want to check this out, wants to be, I don't know, maybe do a season-long competition with us here on GOLZ TV and Wake Up MLS, bro, let me know. Throw it in the comments. I'll just put something together if we get enough people who raise their hand. I think it'd be just a lot of fun to connect with our audience. So guys, let me know. But again, Fabi, man, I really appreciate your takes, golden as always, man. You're always welcome back to the show. We appreciate having you here. And again, we're gonna link everything, Favi and Kickbase, down in the description below. Go check it out. If you sign up, let us know. I'd love to see who's actually getting involved with Kickbase, and let's have some fun in 2026, bro. I think it's gonna be a good soccer year. But that's gonna do it for us. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy MLS content in general, please do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to GOLZ TV. Got a big season ahead. The next video is going to be an Eastern Conference power rankings in tier list fashion. You're not going to want to miss it. So again, subscribe, keep tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.